1,000-yard stare, man, just like nothing. Hello, anybody there? And there was too many of them that had that stare, let me tell you. And they don't play well with that stare.
Not their night as the Vandal women's 10-game win streak comes crashing down. And Steven Madison unloads 42 on Utah Valley, but it wasn't quite enough for a rapidly improving Vandal team. Inside the Vandals, next. Hey, welcome into another week of Inside the Vandals. He's Joey Jenkins, I'm Tom Purvis. And Joey, you heard John Newley right there. His team, a tough loss to Bakersfield on Thursday. Obviously, they followed up with a win, but I think it was surprising to me, watching that game, not that they lost, because sometimes those games just happen, but how they lost.
Yeah, 19-point loss. They did not shoot well. And for the Vandal women, it was kind of a heat check to see how far they could go. They proved maybe that they are mortal, that they are going to lose, and you have to realize they have a target on their back. So every single conference opponent that they play, they're going to try to give them their best shot.
And you talk about shooting percentage. They shot 26.3% from the field, the lowest number of the season. And the surprising thing is, here they are at the Cowan Spectrum. This is the best crowd they've had all season. They've been begging the fans to come out. Here they are, and they show up and they shoot 26.3%. They give up 79 points. Is it surprising to you that this team, they seem a little nervous at home?
I think so. You have to realize they're going with a winning streak. They're trying to stay undefeated. Yeah. They are now the favorites to win the conference. So obviously it's tough, but guess what? They did bounce back. They did get a win on Saturday. We can't say the same thing about the men. It was a heartbreaker against Utah Valley, a career night for Steven Madison. He had 42 points. But overall, they still picked up a loss. Steven
Madison was incredible in that game. I had the chance to, not trying to plug here, but Utah Valley had the game on their website, and so I watched it, but it was a great game. Those announcers were so impressed, and so was I. It's crazy the way that Steven Madison could get inside. He'd just throw up a shot, and it would go in.
Yeah, you take a look at the records that he made. He is now 4th all-time in scoring for the Idaho Vandals. Wow. He tied 2nd for the most field goals made for an Idaho Vandal. He's making a name for himself, and obviously as we get ready for Senior Week, you're pretty excited to see Steven Madison play once again here at Memorial Gym.
Now with the men's team, here's a big question. Even though they lost that game, they play at Utah Valley, a tough place to play. They almost win the game. They were up by 8 at the half. Is this team starting to play well at the right time of the season? Who cares if they lost 6 games to start the season? The WAC tournament is almost here.
Well, that's the question. Can you actually get a lot of good things out of a loss? That's one of the things that I asked Don Verlin, and that comes your way next. Well, we welcome in Don Verlin once again, and we're throwing it old school here at the Memorial Gym. You like it being around here? I always love this environment.
Oh yeah, it's always a great environment, great old gym, and we played pretty well in here, so it's good to be back in Memorial Gym for the last 2 home games.
That's where the last 2 home games will be, but obviously you went into last week with back-to-back conference wins, both at home. You take down New Mexico State. But kind of a tough week on the road. You fall to Bakersfield, and then another heartbreaking loss to Utah Valley.
Yeah, no question about it. Didn't play very well at Bakersfield. Didn't play hard enough. Didn't do the things that we needed to do to win the basketball game. Bakersfield played very well over the weekend, winning both their games, but we didn't have the energy and intensity we needed right from the get-go at Cal State Bakersfield. We actually climbed back in and had a pretty decent lead there for a period of time, and then their energy went up and our intensity didn't stay up like it needed to, and they ended up getting us by about 8 or 9 down there on Thursday night.
It seemed as though, you've talked about rebounding. That was a big key against New Mexico State, and they out-rebounded you there as well.
Yeah, that was a huge part of the game. Rebounding and transition defense. They ran it up the court and got some easy baskets early in that game and even late in the game, and then they killed us on the boards. We didn't do the things that we needed to do to win that basketball game. I thought our guys did a good job of refocusing, after the day of travel and playing a spirited game at Utah Valley. But nice to get that one. So hopefully they learn their lesson. Don't overlook anybody, especially on their home court. And for whatever reason, we weren't as focused as we needed to be against Cal State Bakersfield.
You did get focused back against Utah Valley, though, on Saturday. Interesting. You lose by 1, and obviously a tough loss. But you were happy with their effort, and you said that you have to applaud the boys.
Well, yeah, we played hard, and you got to judge your success by how hard you played. And you know, when you go through a 1-point game, I mean, you can pull out 40 or 50 things that you could have done different to win that basketball game, but we did a lot of really good things. We probably had our best offensive half of the year, scoring 53 in the first half against the league's best defensive team. I thought we played hard all night long. Steven Madison had an unbelievable game, and you know, it was probably the best basketball game that we've had from start to finish as far as from an offensive output. You know, and I thought that was really good for our basketball team to go into Utah Valley and play extremely hard.
What does that say about your team? Because you beat New Mexico State, and although record-wise not the best in the conference, you've said probably the best team in the conference, and then you almost beat Utah Valley, who is record-wise the best team in the conference. What does that do for your players to say, you know what, top 2 teams, we can play with them?
Well, we can play with anybody in this conference. There's no question about it. But what we've got to learn, and it's taken a while with this young, inexperienced teams, is we got to learn the attention to detail, the focus, and how hard you got to play, and all the things you got to do to win a basketball game at the Division I level, and you have to bring that every single night. And you know, the key to success is preparation, and our preparation is getting better, our focus is getting better, and as we grow up, you know, I'm hoping that we will play our best basketball here at the end of February and early March.
It was the 4th 1-point loss of the season that you've had. What effect does that have on your players?
Well, it's always hard when you lose 1 by 1, no question about it. You know, what you got to do is you got to look past it. You know, I think you got to try to take all the positives out of it you can, but they sting. And this one really stung because we had played so well and led almost the entire game.
As you look at, obviously, the offensive outpouring of points against Utah Valley, Steven Madison, a big, big game. It was a banner night for Steven Madison. He went into the history books, and our own Danny Jewell has talked with Madison about his big week that was for the Idaho Vandals. You'll hear that when Inside the Vandals return.